Single mom exposed her struggle with 3 coins for bread. Incredible CEO steps up, covers all costs. Emily stood in the frost-bitten grocery store, her heart pounding as she rummaged through her wallet. 3 coins, just enough for a small loaf of bread. Tears swelled in her eyes. How had it come to this? Just months before, she had been a devoted wife, planning birthday parties and family trips, a life filled with laughter and hope. Now, with the wind howling outside and a constant knot of anxiety tightening in her chest, she felt utterly exposed, crushed under the weight of her new reality. This wasn't just a loaf of bread. It symbolized her struggle, her failures, the dreams that had evaporated when her husband suddenly passed away. Outside, the Midwestern town she called home felt warm and inviting. Neighbors waved hello, children played in the snow, laughter ringing like music. But there was no joy in Emily's heart, only reminders of the bills piling up and the looming eviction notice hanging over her head like a slowly closing noose. She had thrown herself into 2 jobs, waiting tables at the diner during the day and cleaning offices at night, but somehow it never felt like enough. Her children, Liam and Grace, deserved better. In a moment of raw vulnerability, Emily took to social media, her fingers trembling as she poured her heart out for the world to see. "I'm just a mom trying to keep it together," she wrote, detailing her struggles and fears. As she posted, dread filled her. What would people think? To her surprise, the response was astoundingly supportive. Messages of encouragement flooded in, and her story ignited something in the small community. Then came John, the compassionate CEO who had grown up nearby. He remembered the kindness that had helped him through his own rough patches. When he read Emily's story, he immediately reached out, not just to help financially, but to empathize with her struggle. The rallying cry of the community was powerful. Neighbors dropped off groceries, held fundraisers, and even offered to babysit, each act touching Emily's heart deeply, stitching together the fabric of their shared humanity. Just as Emily felt a flicker of hope begin to warm her cold, weary soul, disaster struck once more. An eviction notice arrived, a stark reminder that life was often cruel. She staggered under the pressure, each letter feeling like stones added to her burden. Determined, she climbed into bed that night, hugging Liam and Grace close, but the uncertainty twisted her thoughts tighter. Now the town knew, and they were gathering for a meeting at the town hall to discuss how to support her. The air was thick with tension as people debated, each voice a snap to the already frayed fabric of their community. As Emily sat listening, she felt eyes upon her, heavy and questioning. Their whispers were loud, carrying stinging accusations and pity. The air felt electric, thick with anger and compassion both. Suddenly, silence fell, and all eyes turned to her. Could she find the voice to share her truth one last time? Would they see her resilience, understand her nightmare, and believe that every family deserved a fighting chance? The weight of possibility and fear hung in the air, and with it, the realization that this moment could change everything. Emily squeezed her eyes shut for a brief moment, hoping to steady the whirlwind of emotions inside her. The silence was deafening, stretching painfully while she fought to gather her thoughts. Did they truly want to listen? She felt small, like a child standing before a classroom, awaiting judgment. Yet, within her, a flicker of resolve ignited. This was her chance. "Thank you," she began, her voice trembling but gaining strength with every word. "I didn't want to have to share my story, but I think it's important." She glanced around the room, meeting the eyes of familiar faces, neighbors, friends, even some friends of friends who joined. They were the same people who had showered her with support, and their warmth surged through her. "I thought I could do everything alone," she continued, her breath catching as she spoke. "But life can be heavy, and sometimes you need help to lift it. I've been terrified of losing my home, of not being able to give my kids what they need." Tears threatened again, but she pressed on, fueled by the urgency of the moment. "I never wanted to share any of this. I wanted to be the strong one, the one who had it together. But you all showed me that it's okay to be vulnerable, to lean on one another." A soft murmur swept through the crowd, a ripple of understanding blossoming. She caught glimpses of nods and encouraging smiles. Emily felt a change in the atmosphere, as if a dam of compassion had burst. "We are all in this together," she added, her voice steadier now. "No one should feel ashamed for asking for help. We're human. We struggle. We cry. We hope. In that moment, it wasn't just her story. The gravity of shared challenges resonated within the room. John stood up slowly, joining Emily's gaze. Emily, thank you for your courage, he said, his deep voice cutting through the tension. What you've done tonight isn't just about your struggle. It's illuminated our own. We all have battles, some are just less visible. He stepped forward, pooling the courage required to extend a hand. Today, let us not just support Emily. Let us create a foundation of support for each other. After all, community isn't just a word. It's an action. The crowd erupted in murmurs, then applause. As the energy shifted in the room, Emily felt her heart swell. Hope blossomed like spring flowers breaking through winter's harsh winds. Ideas flowed. Plans sparked. Someone mentioned creating a monthly food drive. Another suggested a community fund to help families in need. But as the voices grew louder, Emily felt a flicker of unease creep in. Would this burst of support last? Or would they all slip back to their lives, forgetting the promises made in heightened emotion? The glimmers of hope entangled with her fear. As she looked at the crowd around her, a realization struck. She could not bear this burden alone, and neither should they. Perhaps this moment marked the start of something larger, not just for her, but for the whole community. The meeting wound down, but Emily knew their fight wasn't done. Outside, the world continued to bustle, while she faced the realities of tomorrow. What would happen when the initial support faded? With the weight still pressing on her heart, Emily sat back, thoughts swirling. Was she truly ready to lean on others, to embrace this newfound support? Would tomorrow be the day everything changed, or just another struggle waiting to unfold? As the last of the meeting's energy fizzled out, Emily stepped outside, the cool evening air wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. She took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the smell of damp earth and the distant sound of laughter ringing from nearby homes. It was almost surreal, the way her heart pounded against her ribcage, but now, it pulsed with possibility rather than fear. She walked slowly, her thoughts replaying the warmth of the room, the kindness in John's words, and how it felt to share her vulnerability. But with every step, the doubts crept back in, twisting her stomach into knots. Was she naive to believe this would make a difference? Did she really think a few plans would hold the weight of everyday struggles? Glancing at her phone, Emily noticed a text from her neighbor, Susan. Incredible talk tonight. I'm with you if you need anything. A smile cracked her worried frown. Maybe it wasn't just fleeting warmth. Maybe it was the start of something more. With renewed determination, she headed home. The familiar creak of the door greeted her, and she stepped inside to find her kids sprawled on the couch, their laughter ringing through the space. Evan, her oldest, was animatedly telling a story to his younger sister. The scene filled her with a mix of love and worry. Were they aware of how fragile their life could be? Hey, you two, she called, walking into the living room. What is so funny? Evan looked up, his eyes sparkling. We were just pretending to be superheroes. I was the Incredible Iron Man, and Mia was, Super Princess. Emily chuckled, letting their joy sweep away the darkness that loomed in her heart. I love that. Can I be in on the action? The children rushed over, pulling her into their game, and for a fleeting moment, Emily felt the weight of the world lift. But once they settled down for the evening, as they prepared for bed, the worries crept back in, like shadowy figures lurking in the corners of her mind. Lying in bed that night, she stared at the ceiling, letting the silence envelop her. She thought about the promises made at the meeting. Monthly food drives, community funds, was it enough? Would she still put her kids to bed anxious about tomorrow? A knock on her bedroom door pulled her from her swirling thoughts. Mama? It was Evan, peeking in with sleepy eyes. Yes, sweetheart. Can we talk? Her heart softened. Of course. Come in. He plopped down next to her, yawning. I was just, thinking. Are we okay? You seem different. Emily hesitated, weighing her words. She wanted to shield him from worry, but at the same time, he deserved honesty. We're okay. Things are just a bit complicated right now, buddy. But we're working on it. His young brow furrowed with concern. What if I help? Like with saving money or something? She couldn't help but smile at his earnestness. That's very sweet, Evan. You're already helping by being you. I just need to figure out how to keep us safe, you know? Sometimes, it's more than just money. He nodded solemnly. Okay. As he stumbled back to his room, Emily felt the warmth of hope flicker again. Perhaps this balance between vulnerability and resilience was something they could navigate together. Perhaps it wasn't about having everything figured out right now. Just as sleep started to pull her under, her phone buzzed with another message, breaking the calm of the night. She grabbed it, curiosity piquing. It was from John. "Hey Emily, let us brainstorm more ideas tomorrow. I have a few more thoughts that might help." Emily smiled, a swell of emotion surging. Maybe they weren't alone in this after all. Maybe change was just a conversation away. What could they accomplish together? Her heart raced, caught between hope and uncertainty. What was next in store for them? Would the spark they ignited continue to grow, or would it flicker out before truly shining? Tomorrow held the answers, but would she be ready to face them? Emily awoke the next morning with the sun shining through her window, casting a warm glow across the bedroom. It felt like an invitation to embrace the day ahead. Despite the lingering doubt in her mind, she pushed herself out of bed, determined to face whatever challenges might arise. As she brewed her morning coffee, the aroma filled her small kitchen, bringing a sense of comfort. The rhythmic chirping of birds outside was an unexpected backdrop to her hectic thoughts. She thought of John and their pending meeting. Each thought of him sent tingles racing through her. Could he truly help? Mia stumbled into the kitchen, rubbing her sleepy eyes. "Mama, I'm hungry," she declared, her voice thick with morning slumber. Emily smiled, kneeling down to kiss her forehead. "Okay, let us whip up something delicious. How about pancakes?" "Yay, I love pancakes." Mia's excitement was contagious, and Emily felt a swell of warmth in her chest. While they prepared breakfast, the kitchen soon filled with laughter and flour dust. Evan joined in, bringing his playful energy, flipping pancake mix in the air like a chef. For a moment, the weight of the world felt far away. But even as they created joy, Emily's mind kept drifting back to the conversation she hoped to have with John. After breakfast, Emily took a quick shower, the water washing away the reluctance she felt about the day ahead. She dressed in a comfortable blue sweater that hugged her frame and jeans that were starting to feel loose. It was progress, she thought. Just as she finished packing a bag for the day, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from Susan. "I'm so proud of you for what you're doing. Can I join you with John? I have some ideas too." Emily's heart swelled with gratitude. The support was unexpected but deeply appreciated. "Of course. The more, the merrier," she quickly texted back. With her heart racing, she made her way to the community center where they planned to meet. Each step felt heavier than the last, pulsing with anticipation. What if nothing changed? What if it was all just talk? But then she remembered Evan's innocent offer to help and sighed, a new resolve blossoming within her. Arriving at the center, she spotted John waiting by the entrance, his face lighting up in that confident smile. "Hey Emily, glad you made it." "Me too," she replied, her own smile breaking through. Susan arrived shortly after, and the three of them gathered inside a small meeting room. Emily shared her vision, her hopes for the community, and the plans she had in mind. John listened intently, his expression thoughtful, occasionally jotting notes. "I truly believe we can create a network," he said, his voice even and steady. "Together we can offer support, not just with food, but with services, job training, everything." The electric excitement in the room was palpable. Emily felt her doubts start to slip away like an afternoon shadow as they discussed the logistics. Each idea sparked another, and before long, they had a list of potential projects that could impact the community dramatically. But just then, the door swung open, interrupting their brainstorming. A woman named Claire rushed in. "I just heard about what you all are doing. Phenomenal. I can help pilot this with my contacts." Emily's heart raced. They were building a coalition, a real chance to reshape lives. Despite the gathering excitement, a flicker of doubt still lingered in the back of her mind. Would they really achieve what they set out to do, or was this just a beautiful daydream? As they wrapped up the meeting and shared promises to stay connected, Emily left the center feeling lighter, a burgeoning sense of responsibility blossoming in her chest. She had touched base with her community and found support. But even with all that potential waiting for action, another question gnawed at her. Would they have enough momentum to make lasting changes? As she walked home, her heart full of hope and trepidation, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. What barriers would they need to break to turn their plans into reality? And could she handle the pressure of leadership that seemed to be finding its way more and more into her life? The next morning, Emily awoke early from a dream that felt both vivid and faintly encouraging. She had stood in front of her community, a confident leader, speaking to them about hope and resilience. As she rubbed the sleep from her eyes, reality washed over her like a cold splash of water. The idea of leading her community, while exhilarating, felt terrifying too. After a quick breakfast of toast and jam shared with Mia, Emily sat at the kitchen table, staring at the list of ideas they had brainstormed just the day before. The three of them had put so much thought into it, and yet there still felt like an enormous mountain ahead. What if she didn't know enough? What if she failed? With Mia happily occupied coloring in a new book, Emily decided to reach for her phone. She sent out a quick message to John and Susan, asking for a follow-up meeting. They needed to keep the momentum going, but deep inside, uncertainty clawed at her. Did they have what it takes? As soon as she sent the message, she felt a wave of anxiety wash over her. She stood up and paced the small kitchen, the floor creaking beneath her feet. Would everyone she gathered become disappointed if things didn't go as planned? Her heart raced at the thought. "Mama?" Mia called out, looking up from her colorful pens. "You okay?" Emily took a breath, forcing a smile. "Of course, sweetie. Just thinking about all the fun things we can do today." Mia jumped up, ready for another adventure. "Can we go to the park? I want to swing." Emily's heart warmed. Sometimes, the simple joys made everything seem more manageable. "All right, let us do it." They bundled up and headed to the park, the crisp air wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. As they approached the swings, Emily couldn't help but feel the endorphin rush of excitement. Seeing Mia climb up and soar through the air brought back memories of her own childhood, a sweet escape from adult complexities. After a while Mia was busy on the swings, Emily sank into a nearby bench, trying to quell the nagging doubts swirling in her mind. It felt odd, wanting to change the world while feeling so small. She picked up her phone, glancing at the notifications, but just as she was about to get caught in the endless scroll, she spotted John, walking briskly towards them. "Emily," he called, waving as he approached. "I got your message. Mind if I join you?" "Not at all." Emily jumped up, heart racing again at the sight of him. John's presence somehow eased the tension knots in her chest, reminding her she wasn't alone in this. As the three of them chatted about their goals and next steps, the conversation seemed to float between the swings and the laughter of children, carrying a sense of lightness. They discussed timelines and resources, and John brought up the idea of organizing a community meeting to engage more voices. "That could be big," Susan chimed in, her enthusiasm palpable. "People need to feel that this is for them. We can't just do it for them. We have to do it together." Emily felt a flicker of hope ignite. Involving the community could amplify their efforts beyond anything she had imagined. Maybe they could gain the momentum they needed. Just as they started wrapping up their plans, a commotion nearby caught Emily's attention. A young boy had fallen off his bike, and his cries filled the air. Instinctively, Emily darted over, her heart racing. She knelt beside him, assessing the situation, hoping to reassure him amidst the chaos. The boy's mother hurried over, frazzled and anxious. Emily could feel that familiar wave of compassion surging within her. Without thinking, she reached out, offering both comfort and support, invoking a sense of community without even realizing she helped them. A realization struck her. This feeling of being connected and supportive was what she wanted for everyone to experience. Would they truly come together as they sought to build something meaningful? That afternoon, as Emily and her new support system left the park, she felt a renewed energy in her bones. There was work to be done. Yes, but with her friends by her side and a community that could really engage if they just took the right first steps, perhaps they had a chance. "Why don't we plan the community meeting for next week?" John suggested. "Let us get the ball rolling." Emily nodded, her heart racing with hope. But just as they were lost in excited chatter, the boy's mother approached them once again. "Thank you for stepping in. I saw how caring you were," she said, her eyes shining. "I'd love to get involved too. We all want change, don't we?" Emily's heart skipped a beat. Could they truly create something bigger than themselves? As the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the horizon with colors of possibility, She realized they were already making waves, but how deep would those waves go? What challenges awaited them as they stepped forward into this uncertain yet thrilling journey? The week flew by, filled with a frenzy of planning and anticipation. Emily spent her days drafting an agenda for the community meeting while Jessica, the boy's mother, joined in on brainstorming sessions. They exchanged ideas over coffee while Mia colored away at Emily's feet, moments of laughter mixing with serious chats about the future. Emily felt an unusual sense of purpose. They shared visions and dreams, large and bright, illuminating the path ahead. Jessica was passionate, her eyes glimmering as she spoke about creating safe spaces for children to play together and bringing artistic crafts to the community that would allow everyone to express themselves. But amidst this excitement, there was an underlying anxiety that gnawed at Emily. Would anyone come? Was she really capable of rallying a community? Every night, doubts crept in and settled like unwelcome guests in her mind. She found herself lying awake, fingers tracing the list of names they wanted to invite, worrying she might fail them all. As the sun rose on the morning of the big day, she could feel the heat of those worries simmering beneath the surface. She arranged chairs at the park's small pavilion, double-checked the speakers, and set colorful flyers on every table. Mia hung a handmade banner that read "Together We Rise" right above the entrance. Each letter danced with the innocence of her little hands and the joy of creativity. "Will people really come, Mama?" Mia asked, her small voice breaking through Emily's anxious thoughts as she stuck a stray strand of hair behind her ear. "Of course they will, sweetheart." Emily hoped her smile was convincing. "Everyone wants to be a part of something special." Mia nodded, but her tiny forehead wrinkled with doubt. Emily felt that familiar tug in her heart, wishing to shield her daughter from her own uncertainties. As the clock inched closer to the designated time, Emily stood at the entrance, her nerves buzzing like a live wire. Families began to trickle in, and the sight of familiar faces brought a wave of relief. John arrived, bringing with him a sense of calm amidst her swirling thoughts. "Look at this turnout," he exclaimed, pointing to the growing crowd. "You did this, Emily. You brought everyone together." The murmurs of laughter and voices filled the air, blending with the rustling leaves and distant chirps of birds. Emily allowed herself a moment to breathe, her heart swelling with both pride and trepidation. Susan stepped up, her warm smile reassuring Emily. "Just speak from the heart," she whispered as they stood in the center, ready to start. With a deep breath, Emily clutched the edges of the podium, feeling the wood beneath her fingertips grounding her. She glanced out at the crowd, families, friends, strangers, and something shifted within her. She realized this wasn't just her journey. It was theirs, too. "Thank you for coming today," she began, her voice steady and calm. "We're here to create change together, to build a vibrant community where everyone belongs and feels heard." As she spoke, Emily felt the weight shift from her shoulders. People nodded, and she noticed the spark of curiosity in their eyes. Her passion for change ignited others, and together they envisioned possibilities. As the discussion deepened, someone raised their hand. "Can we implement a community garden?" Another suggested, followed by enthusiastic agreements. Seeds of ideas took root in the midst of what Emily thought might be her downfall. Yet, just as she began to believe they were unraveling the potential for their community, the door to the pavilion swung open violently. A man stood there, his expression hard, his eyes darting around the gathering, and then they landed on Emily. "Hey, I hear you're trying to make some kind of community changes here," he shouted, his tone accusing. The laughter quieted, and a chill settled in the air as all eyes turned towards him. Emily's heart raced. What could he want? Was he opposed to their efforts? Would he be a threat to all they worked for? The room held its breath, the moment stretching like an elastic band ready to snap. With determination flooding her veins, Emily locked eyes with the man. "Yes, we are," she called out, voice unwavering. "And we invite everyone to join us. What's your concern?" The tension crackled, leaving her wondering how deep their resolve would need to go. Would they rise above opposition, or would adversity threaten the sparks of hope they had ignited? The man stepped further into the pavilion, his intense gaze piercing through the cheerful atmosphere like a thundercloud. People shifted nervously, exchanging glances, unsure of what this confrontation would entail. Emily took a breath, feeling her chest rise and fall, reminding herself that strength came from honesty and unity, not fear. "Are you really going to turn this into some kind of playground for your little friends?" he asked, voice loud and challenging. "What makes you think kids in this neighborhood need special treatment? You don't even live around here." His words shot like arrows, but Emily stood firm, reminding herself of what she fought for, facing a room filled with hopeful faces. "We're not looking for special treatment. We're creating opportunities for our kids to play, learn, and grow together, to make connections that break down barriers." A ripple of murmurs traveled through the crowd. The community seemed ready to rally behind her stance. Emily could feel the weight of their hopeful gazes. Jessica stepped up, her voice steady. "We all want what's best for our children. Isn't that what matters? We want to build a place where everyone feels welcome, no matter where they're from." The man's expression softened ever so slightly, though his defenses still stood high. "And what if it doesn't work? What if it's just a waste of time? Then we learn and try again," Emily replied, determination lacing her voice. "But I believe in this community. I believe in everyone here." Her heart raced as she scanned the crowd, searching for a hint of solidarity. John stepped forward, emboldened by Emily's response. "This is about our kids. Every kid deserves a chance to play safely and make memories. We can't keep waiting for someone else to take charge. This is our chance." The crowd erupted in supportive applause, shaking off the initial tension. Emily felt buoyed by their belief. But as she admired the unity unfolding, she caught the man's eyes flicker between skepticism and a glimmer of something else. Was that interest? Curiosity? "Okay," he said, his voice quieter now. "Let's say I'm willing to hear you out. But don't underestimate the real challenges around here." Emily couldn't help but feel a surge of hope, a small crack in the man's hardened shell. "That's all we ask. Join us, share your concerns. We're all in this together." The man hesitated, glancing at the audience who had rallied around Emily. "Fine, but don't think it'll be easy." "We don't want easy," Emily assured him, her voice carrying strength. "We want meaningful change." Encouraged by the shift, the community once again burst into conversation. People started brainstorming ideas that mixed laughter with passion. The conversation expanded to include everyone, sharing dreams, concerns, hope. But then, something unexpected happened. From the back corner of the pavilion, an elderly woman stood up, her face etched with years of wisdom. "You know," she began, her soft voice cutting through the chatter, "I've lived here long enough to see a lot of things come and go. But what we really need is each other. No matter our age, we all want to belong." Her words struck a chord, and the crowd quieted, allowing space for reflection. Emily felt a stirring within her. They were weaving threads of connection through their stories, building the community layer by layer. As they talked and laughed, Emily couldn't help but wonder, would they have enough resolve to keep pushing against the challenges ahead? Would the man turn from a skeptic into an ally? Or would the seeds of doubt threaten to drag their momentum down? The sun began to set, casting a warm golden hue over the gathering. Emily watched as laughter and camaraderie filled the air, pausing to feel a flicker of hope in her chest, one that could turn into something brilliant. Just then, a deep voice interrupted her thoughts. "I've got something to say," the man declared, raising his hand to capture everyone's attention. Emily's heart raced again, curiosity mixing with anxiety as the community turned toward him, eager to hear his intentions. What would this man decide to reveal? The man cleared his throat, his presence commanding attention in the now hushed pavilion. Emily felt the collective breath of the crowd held tight, a tension that crackled just below the surface. She glanced at the faces around her, a mix of anticipation and concern. This moment felt monumental, as if everything hinged on what he would say next. "I know I've been hard on the idea," he began, his voice strong but softened by a hint of vulnerability. "But it's not just about whether we need a community space. It's about whether we can maintain it, engage with it, and really drive change in a place that has seen too much neglect." Emily nodded, feeling her heart beat a little faster. His honesty pierced through the skepticism. "We can work together on that. We can build something real, not just a playground filled with plastic toys." He continued, "I didn't want to admit it, but I've seen more than one good effort fail around here. I've watched communities crumble due to broken promises." His gaze flitted across the crowd, landing on the elderly woman who had spoken earlier. I know how it feels to be hopeful only to have that hope dashed. But what if we don't let that happen? She could hear the threads of change weaving in his words. Emily took a step forward, eager to meet him where he stood. That's why we're here together. We want to be that change. We want to collaborate and build trust. We aren't just throwing ideas into the air, we're planting seeds. It starts with all of us. Loud applause broke out spontaneously as people felt the shift. The atmosphere, once fraught with tension, began to hum with potential. The man looked around, absorbing the energy, surprised by the vibes they were creating. All right, he said, a flicker of resolve in his eyes. Let us brainstorm practical ways to ensure sustainability. Community-led projects. Engaged families. It won't be easy, but if we're going to do this, we need commitment from everyone, not just words. John shouted from the back, count on us. We're ready to roll up our sleeves. Emily beamed, urging the crowd to contribute ideas, encouraging voices to emerge. Small groups formed, buzzing with enthusiasm, discussing everything from fundraising to neighborhood events. Laughter spilled out, mingling with the setting sun's glow, and for a moment, it felt as if the weight of the world began to lift. But as the noise swelled, Emily glanced back at the man standing in the center. He appeared different now, lines of worry smoothed as he engaged with the community. Then, as if a shadow swept back over the moment, a flaw in their plan threaded through Emily's mind. What about the lack of support from the city? What happens when bureaucracies step in? He cocked his head thoughtfully. We'll face that too. But if we stand together, we're stronger. Moments later, the crowd was interrupted again as a loud crash echoed from the pavilion entrance. A young boy, perhaps 7 or 8, stumbled into view holding a backpack larger than he was. Inside, it clattered ominously. Sorry, I'm just trying to, he panted, his eyes wide with excitement. I've got something to show everyone. Everyone turned, their expressions shifting from surprise to intrigue. Emily took a step closer, her heart racing again. What is it, sweetheart? The boy grinned, opening his backpack and revealing a colorful array of painted rocks, each one telling a story. These are our dreams. I want to put them here, he gestured dramatically, to remind us of what we're building. The crowd erupted into an encouraging cheer. Emily felt the corners of her mouth lift, a rush of warmth igniting her spirit. As the boy began handing out the stones, she couldn't shake off the weight of uncertainty creeping back in. They were ready to build their dreams, but what unseen hurdles would rise from the depths of doubt? With the boy's excitement anchoring the growing chatter, Emily couldn't help but wonder if dreams were so fragile. Could their hopes endure the tides of reality? What challenge would test their resolve next? The boy's enthusiasm was infectious as he handed out the colorful rocks. People eagerly reached out, each touch eliciting smiles and bursts of laughter. Emily's heart swelled with hope, watching the little hands take one stone at a time, filled with dreams that sparkled like jewels against the evening sun. Yet, that fleeting joy could only mask the shadows lurking in her heart. Just then, a mother couple of rows back caught her eye. She looked worn, yet fiercely protective over her 2 daughters clinging to her. The woman's lips moved in a silent prayer, her expression revealing the weight of a struggle unseen. Emily felt a nagging sense of urgency, an impulse to reach out and connect. Hey, she called out, recognizing the woman from the neighborhood watch. Why don't you come up here with your girls? Everyone wants to hear what you dream for this space. The woman hesitated, scanning the crowd as if unsure she belonged. Emily's heart pounded for her, encouragement firing through her spirit. Hope blossomed in her chest as the woman, taking a deep breath, rose to her feet and walked forward, girls in tow. The crowd split to let them through, and whispers of support rippled out. You can do this, Emily whispered under her breath, nodding encouragingly. Once they reached the front, the girls clung to their mother's hips, peeking out shyly. What would you like to see? Emily asked, gentling her tone. I want a space where my daughters can play safely, where they can laugh, learn, and make friends. She finally spoke, her voice steadying. But I'm worried. What if we can't keep it going? We're just trying to get by as it is. Emily felt the familiar tightening in her chest, a reflection of every mother who had ever felt helpless. But you're not alone. We're all in this together. If we build this community, we'll support one another. Tension thawed as more people spoke up, sharing their desires for the space, voicing concerns that rattled beneath the surface. We need affordable programs for kids. Someone offered from the left. What about an area for arts and crafts? Another chimed in. As voices merged into a wave of ideas, Emily's heart soared again. Yet, she couldn't ignore that creeping doubt. Would promises made here withstand the scrutineering eyes of the city council? Would they really find the means to support this dream? The man stepped closer, clapping his hands to bring the group's attention back. These are fantastic ideas. But let us not forget about how vital it is to hold each other accountable. We need to plan something that lasts. The crowd simmered. What began as passionate ideas now intertwined with trepidation. Then, just as concern hung like a curtain, Emily felt a shift in the air. A familiar voice rose from the back, unwavering yet soft. It was Vivian, an elderly woman who seemed to have wisdom etched into her every wrinkle. We mustn't allow fear to guide our steps, she began, garnering the attention of many. Let love and trust be at the heart of it all. The crowd shifted, an undercurrent of determination flowing among them. But within that power, Emily felt a shiver of doubt grip her heart again. Vivian, what if, despite all our efforts, the city still won't back us? Emily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. A silence blanketed them, and Emily wished she could take back her words, wondering if her vulnerability would be a crack in the facade of hope. How long could they sustain this without solid support? And then the boy, still at the front, stood up straighter, clutching his rock adorned with swirling colors. We have each other. Our dreams are real. His tiny declaration pulled everyone back toward a common thread. Emily's heart fluttered with uncertainty, yet she couldn't let despair stifle her resolve. We'll just have to be brave, she murmured, looking around at the faces now radiant with possibility. As discussions ignited again, she pondered what it truly meant to forge forward in the face of adversity. Would they find the strength to construct a sanctuary, or would they falter with the weight of reality? The evening sky began to darken, and Emily locked eyes with the man again. Their journey had only just begun, but with the tension of uncertainty still palpable, she asked herself, was this a step toward a lasting change, or merely a beautiful dream on the brink of shattering? Emily woke early the next morning, the sun streaming through her window, bathing the room in warmth. She lay there, heart fluttering with hope and anxiety. Today was the day they would present their community plan to the city council. As she climbed out of bed, the smile on her face didn't quite mask the tightness in her chest. Her kids Liam and Grace were still asleep, curled together like little kittens. She tiptoed downstairs, brewing a pot of coffee and trying to prepare herself for what was to come. The aroma filled the kitchen, a familiar comfort, but her thoughts raced with all the what-ifs tangled in her mind. What if the council rejected their proposal? What if the community's momentum faltered? All the dreams shared during the meeting felt like fragile bubbles, ready to burst at the slightest poke. Would they crumble under the weight of reality? A soft voice broke her reverie. Mama? It was Grace, peeking sleepily around the corner. Are we going somewhere exciting today? Emily knelt to her level, brushing a stray hair from her daughter's face. Yes, sweetheart. We're going to show some really important people our big plan for a community space. Can I help? Grace's eyes sparkled with innocent enthusiasm. Of course. Emily grinned, wrapping Grace in a big hug. Your sparkle can help shine the way. After a chaotic but joyful breakfast, they bundled up and grabbed their poster boards, decorated with hand-painted images of the playground, community garden, and the vibrant mural they envisioned. As they walked out, every step felt heavier yet lighter all at once. At the community center, people gathered, voices buzzing like honeybees. Emily's heart swelled as she spotted familiar faces, neighbors, friends, and even the man who had been wary of their plans. He stood talking animatedly with John, the light in his eyes a stark contrast to the skepticism he once held. Emily, Susan called, waving energetically. She motioned for everyone to gather ahead of the meeting, her own excitement infectious. Are you ready? We've got a good crowd. Emily nodded, her stomach fluttering. When it was their turn to present, Emily stepped up to the podium. The room fell silent, filled with anticipation. She took a deep breath, her courage bolstered by the support encircling her. Thank you all for being here, Emily began, her voice steadying as she glanced around the room at the hopeful faces, the supportive community members who stood by her in moments of doubt. We believe that every child deserves a safe space to play and grow, where laughter and friendship can flourish. She raised her poster, their vision emblazoned in vivid colors. The murmurs began, whispers of agreement bubbling up around the room like effervescent champagne. John joined her at the podium, speaking passionately about the plans they crafted together, the diverse energy that pulsed within their community, and the incredible ideas born in collaboration. He noted each point with clarity, emphasizing the unity, the necessity behind their venture. As the presentation flowed, Emily grew bolder. Each word felt like a thread weaving their collective dreams into the fabric of reality. And just as she began to think they could truly make it happen, the council members leaned closely, jotting down notes, their eyes locked on Emily and John as if ready to hear anything they had to say. Tension hung in the air like a low hum, and then one council member, an older man with glasses perched precariously on his nose, leaned forward. This young boy, he pointed to a pile of rocks that still rested at Emily's feet. What are these about? Emily felt her spirits lift. This was a child's dream. A simple rock painted with love is a reminder of our commitment to harnessing imagination and hope. The crowd erupted with laughter and applause, life permeating the previously tense atmosphere. The heartwarming warmth buzzed across the room, making even the council members crack smiles. And then, the unexpected happened. The young boy who had introduced the rocks raised his hand timidly. I have a dream, too. He stood tall, excitement lighting his face as he stepped forward. I want my sister to play here, to have fun, and I want them all to play together. The room erupted in applause, energized by his raw passion and determination. The council listened, their expressions softening. One by one, community members shared their dreams. Gardens filled with food, safe spaces for every child, a place where art and culture could flourish. Each voice fortified Emily's courage, wrapping her in a radiant glow of goodwill. After the heartfelt exchanges, the council members whispered among themselves, then turned to the gathering. We see the heart behind this initiative. The older man finally spoke, foreboding melting like morning fog. This will not be easy, but it appears you have the community's backing. We will consider your proposal seriously. Emily felt the collective breath of anticipation held by those around her. Then, as if sensing the moment in the air, more applause resounded again. They fought together, made an impact together. Outside, families celebrated, laughter spilling out into the streets, and Emily felt hope surge stronger than ever. The man who had once questioned their intentions walked up to her, extending a hand. Emily, I see it now, a vision worth fighting for. A radiant smile burst across her face as she took his hand, feeling the weight of doubt begin to lift. We will make this happen together, she assured him, her heart pounding with fervor. The sun emerged brightly above them, casting a golden hue over the crowd, a symbol of nascent beginnings. There would undoubtedly be challenges ahead, moments of fear and uncertainty. But for the first time, Emily didn't feel alone in the struggle. No, they were a community united, ready to rise together. And as they moved forward, sharing dreams and listening to one another, she knew this was only the beginning. Life was waiting to unfold, and she could feel the beauty of transformation swirling in the air. If you are ready to witness amazing transformations like this, you need to subscribe now to our channel. This is the moment to show your support for stories that inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help this channel grow. We want to hear your thoughts. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this incredible story. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. It's time to spread hope like wildfire.